Welcome to Slingshot 25 Shotcast, a series of bite-sized podcasts that will feel like an espresso shot to your brain. I'm Jackie.
I'm Courtney.
Something we're thinking about today is this phenomenon of quiet quitting that we've been reading about out there on the internet.
Feels like a brush fire, like all of a sudden it was on the scene and everywhere you look, people are talking about it.
Yes, quiet quitting. So the first thing that we've been thinking about with this is that it's not new. It's not really a new phenomenon, in our opinion. It just goes by different names. And some of the names we were thinking about that we've heard before that are similar to this phenomenon are this idea of retiring in place or not my problem.
Yeah, just kind of working just below the radar, just doing enough to get by.
Yeah.
It's not new. That was my first reaction when the quiet, I'm a low context person. So the first articles I saw, I just skimmed. I'm like, why is this being treated like something new? Feels like we've been dealing with some level of this all the time.
Yeah, and I think we have. I think we've been dealing with some level of this. I think what is new, though, is the scale of it. Like, you were right about this sort of this brush fire. Like, all of a sudden, not only is everyone talking about it, I think people...
It's resonating.
Yeah, it's absolutely resonating with people. And a lot of people are recognizing that they're in this headspace. They're in this space of this quiet quitting, which is, we should probably talk about what that even really is.
Yeah. So what the articles are talking about is the idea where people are looking at their jobs very differently. It's just, I'm going to do my job. I'm going to do my job well, right? I'm going to be committed to it. I want to work hard. But then that's it. Like, I'm not going to do more. I'm not that interested in climbing a ladder. I think people are saying, my job is just that. And I have boundaries and I'm not willing to go above and beyond, give tons of discretionary effort. I'm just going to give up that part. If you want it, you want to go chase that, go ahead. But it's not for me. And as people are talking about that, I think it is hitting a nerve. It's resonating because I'm like, yeah, me either. Like, I just at work, pay my bills and then balance my life. That's what I want.
Yeah. The thing that I see also different than those other phenomenons that we talked about, like retiring in place and not my problem, is that people are really owning this.
Yeah.
They're not trying to fake it. And they're owning it. They're really calling it their status. They're saying, I want people to know that this is what we're thinking about and this is how I'm going to show up at work because we're trying to bring some attention to it.
I think that's very different than I say my generation. I think people who were retired on the job actively, and we kind of joked even preparing for this about, you still wanted to give up the impression that you're working really, really hard, right? Like, make sure you get there 10 minutes before everyone else. And maybe you didn't put in as much, but you certainly kept up appearances. Right. And now there is no need to keep or desire, right, to put up any appearance. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I put in. This is what I'm getting out, and I'm good with that.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit as well about, so where does this come from? Why now?
Yeah.
And it's pretty clear, and I don't think this comes as a surprise to anyone, that this is coming on the heels of the Great Resignation, the pandemic, the big rethink about our lives.
Yeah, for sure. My daughter's a sociology major. Like, sociologists will probably study this for years and we'll get words and labels and things like that for what's going on. But there's no doubt that the pause that we got when people stepped back, spent 2 years not having the ability to chase careers, not having to do even the travel requirements of your job. Mm-hmm. Like, when I was thinking, I told myself a story. I'm like, I've always been that person. I've always been not below the radar, but I never felt myself a climber. Mm-hmm. But maybe the fulcrum shifted. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, I did travel a lot when my kids are little. If I were 20 years younger, would I do that? Or would I be having a different conversation with myself about what's giving too much? What's it cost? And am I okay with those costs?
That's right. And it sounds like a lot of people are doing exactly that right now. So the next question, of course, that should be on all of our minds is, what do we do about it? And unfortunately, we don't have time to talk about that on this episode, but we will get into that in the next episode. And we're going to talk about the concepts of equity theory and engagement. So in the meantime, if you want more, feel free to drop us a line at slingshot25.com.